Hiya Joe, hiya, good evening. I'm hoping, hi Christine, oh we're all flying on. Hi Donna, hi Denise, hi Pat, hi Andreen. Oh my, they're going so fast I can't see who's coming up. Hello, 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 hello. Hi Lynn. If I miss anybody's names, because honestly they're flying up. Hi Brian, hi Phillipa. The comments are just going so quickly. I'm not used to it going so fast. Normally when I do a live, it's quite slow and steady. Hi Gail, Yvonne. Hi everybody. If I miss any comments while I'm doing the live or anything, I'll go back on after I've finished it and I'll answer any of your questions. Hi Rachel. Oh, you've bought the middle one. Oh, you're gonna love these. You are absolutely gonna love these. Honestly, there's so much. There's so much you can do with them. They're so versatile. It's unbelievable. And you'll not stop playing with them. Hi Annie. Hiya. Okay, we've got 18 on already. So I'll just have a little chat through what I'm going to use, okay? And then as we go, I will give you the measurements. I'm sorry about all the shadows and all. I've got my light on, or I've got the light from the window, but I'm hoping that you can see it all okay. I've turned the autofocus off, which hopefully, hi Patsy, it will stop the pulse thing that happens with the Facebook Live sometimes, but honestly, I've done as much as I can. Facebook just sometimes does not play ball. So, okay, as you can see, I'm going to be using Phillipa's new stamps. I will be using a combination of all three of them. Oh, see, it's pulsing already. How annoying. Yeah, so I'll be using Phillipa's stamps and a combination of all the sentiments. Predominantly, the pattern that I'm using is using this set for the actual panels on the box. So I'll just pop them to one side and I'll get out what I need for later. So I'm going to be, when I did the teal coloured one, I used the little small set. So now I thought what I'd do would be to use the bigger set to show that although the small cards, you can still use the same. And just the little heart is what I'm going to use. And I found I'm not going to be using the stamp platform. Okay, absolutely not going to be using that tonight. These stamp so well, I'm just going to use acrylic blocks. So the thing I found was this old cardio thing, which is absolutely perfect for the little tiny heart stamp. Okay, you can put that on, and obviously when you turn her upside down you can see through the top, so you can see exactly where you're putting it. So I'm going to pop that on there ready for when I need it, and I'm going to use one of these old acrylics. I think they were from, I don't know, years and years ago, but they're really good if you've got sore hands, and I've been crafting all day, so my hands are a little sore, so I'm just going to pop them on. Okay, to start, we will need some card. Okay, we're going to start with the box, all right? So this large piece, hiya Dawn, hi Sarah, hiya Marilyn. This large piece is 11 inches by 7 inches, okay? And that's going to be the main body of the box. And this smaller one is going to be the lid, and that measures 4 inches by 7 inches. Okay, so I'm going to get the scoring out the way on this, and then I'm going to put it to one side and we'll crack on with the other bits that we need, because I like to decorate the box before I actually glue it together. Hi Tracy. So the 11 by 7 piece, we're going to lay it so the 11 is at the top, and we are going to score it at 3 3.5 inches. Okay, take it slow, get your scores in the right place. 3.5 inches. We're going to score it at 5.25 inches. Down it goes. And 8.75 inches. Straight down. And 10.5 inches. There you go. So 10.5. Alright. And then you turn it. So the 7 side is at the top. And you score it at 1.75 and 6.25. Okay, so there we go. That's the main body of the box scored. Hi Judith. And then we're moving on to the lid. Okay, so if you put the 4 inches at the top, we're going to go 1/2 inch down. So score all the way down at 1/2 inch. And 2.25 inches. Okay, there we are. And then we turn it so that the 7 inches is at the top, and we score it at 1.75 inch and 5.25. Okay, but while we're there, this small area that you've got there at the top, I want you to put a little marker only to the first score line at 1.5, okay, and 5.5. Now, you'll need those little markers later. So if you pop them in now, it's quite handy. You don't have to get your scoreboard back out. So they're the scores that you need for the top lid and for the box body. Okay. I'll just pop my scoreboard down. So now you need some sharp scissors, and we're going to start with the box. So if you lay it down so that you've got the small scored area at the top and you've got the larger one at the bottom, take your scissors, and this corner, this rectangle on the corner here, I want you to take that clean off. Okay, take that right off to that first score line. So basically you've cut that edge out, and while you're there, just put your scissors in and give it a little mitre. Okay, and then at the top you take off the small rectangle, and you also give that one a little mitre. Okay, so that's what we've got there, that edge shape taken out. And now I want you to cut up these score lines to that one there, okay, because this is going to become the bottom of your box. So we're just going to slice up right down the middle. Good sharp pair of scissors is what's needed for this. Okay, so let me move those out of the way. So now we have 2 flaps and 2 longer parts. These 2 flaps, I want you to put a little tiny mitre on either side. Okay, so if you pick it up, just helps put the box together slightly neat. Neater than, you know, maybe you haven't cut it straight or whatever, and it gives you that little bit of room to be able to move it about. Okay, lift it up, it's probably easier to do. I do hope you can see this okay. Okay, take a mitre out of that one and a mitre out of that side. Keep moving the card around. Right, there we are. So I hope you can see that. The 2 little smaller areas I've mitred. Okay, now it comes to the top area. So again, cut down the score lines that you've put in earlier. Okay. Now what we need to do now is these 2 smaller ones, if you put them in the air, we need those. We can't cut them off. Okay. How heavy is the card I'm using? This is Phil Martin's card, and I think it feels like 250 GSM to me. But the other one, I've done this I've done this box many times and it works fine with 300 GSM. I would say don't go any, I suppose Tonic's 240 would do, Tonic's 240 card. I wouldn't go any lighter than that, because, you know, you want your box to be sturdy. You want it to hold the cards nicely, so yeah, I wouldn't go any lower than 240. It's okay, Donna, no problem. You can have a look back on it. Okay, so these two long pieces we have here, they need removing completely off. Okay, so cut them off as neat as you can. I'm not great with a pair of scissors, I'll be honest. I still can't cut straight. So we've cut that one off, and I'm going to go in along this side here because I find it easier, and cut this one off. Okay, there we go. So that is all we're left with. Two little flaps, and this is for the bottom. Okay, so once you've done that, burnish all your creases. I just use my finger, to be honest. Burnish them well, because obviously everybody knows that the key to a good squared up box is good creases. Okay, this is a particularly nice card, I have to say. It creases well, it doesn't crack or split. It's really quite nice. So along you go. You can use a bone folder, obviously, but sometimes a bone folder makes the card shiny, unless you've got one of those Teflon ones, and that's, I don't like that much. Don't like shiny on your card. So that's the box. These two here are the flaps that come across the top. Now you can either mitre them, leave them as they are, or you can use your corner rounder on them. Okay, I do love a corner rounder, but I haven't got it out, so I'm just going to mitre them. Just makes for a nicer looking box. Okay, there we go. So that's the top part and the bottom part of the box done. So now we need to focus on the lid. Okay, first thing I want you to do is cut up the score lines at the bottom. The bigger, you've got a slim one at the top and you've got a bigger one at the bottom. So you cut up the bottom ones. Okay, there we go. Yeah, we've got that. Right, so what we're aiming for, it's a really odd shape, this. I can't really describe the shape except to say it looks like that. So this is the shape we're aiming for. All right, so these two outer flaps that you've just trimmed up, I want you to mitre them edges. Okay, just a slight mitre on that. Turn it over, mitre the other side. Again, this will give you a neater finish to the box. Same on that one. Trim just the edges off. If you need to, move that one out the way while you do the mitre on this one. There we go. Okay, so that's them done. And now the sides are a little trickier, but not too bad. Okay, do you remember putting those markers in? So the outer marker, what we need to do is trim off the rectangle to that outer edge marker. Okay. Hi, Gloria. You found us okay then. There we go. On both sides, trim them off. Okay. And this is where that marker comes into its own. I'm just going to grab a larger pair of scissors because it's easier. Yeah, that'll do. A bit rusty, but there you go. Where that outer edge marker is, okay, I want you to take it from this corner where the marker is, right down to this corner here, effectively diagonally across there. Okay, you can start at either point. I usually start at this outer point and I point my scissors in the general direction and just go for it. Okay, so you've cut that one off. Do the same on the other side. Start at the outer edge corner and generally go to that marker. That's the direction we want. So now we need to remove those two little tiny markers. Like I said, they were there handy. We don't need them now. So take them little extra bits off. Straight up. I hope Can you give us some thumbs up if you're following this okay and I'm not confusing you too much? There we are. So now we've got that. Okay, one little more tiny cut. Right, you're following okay, that's good. I want you to mitre that top edge. Now, just take it off there. So now we've got kind of a weird shape, but all will become apparent when we put it together. So, like we did before, burnish your lines that you've scored. Give them a good squish. Because that'll really help when it comes to putting the box together. There we go. Okay. And now what we want to do is attach the lid to the base, and then we can leave that to dry while we crack on with the rest. Now, at any of these points here, you can attach this lid. And how you do that is this little thing that you created at the top. This is the flap that you glue on. So get your glue out, either, you know, wet glue or double-sided tape, whatever you want. Okay, and you put some glue along that edge of the flap. It's that warm, it's dried the top of the glue up. I'm using pin flare glue. I use it for everything. I really love it. It doesn't let me down normally. You watch it do so tonight, okay? And I found the easiest way to do this is to turn both of them over. And you can see that score line there. Okay, slide it in until one of them meets the score line. That edge there meets the score line. Now this does dry clear, but you know, hopefully it dries clear. So there we go. You've slid it in. From the inside it looks like that. You've just attached it there. Okay. Right. So we can put that to one side, leave that to dry while we crack on with the rest of it. Alright, I'll move it down a bit. There we are. So, now I'm going to work on telling you the card sizes. So, obviously I'm not going to sit and make 4 of them in front of you. I'm only going to make 1. That's all you need to see, just the 1. And how you decorate it is totally up to you. So what we have for the card size is a piece of white card, or whatever colour card you want to do it in. That is 6 inches by 4 inches. And all we do is score this at 3 inches. Okay? And that will create your card base. There we are. 1 card base created. 6 by 4. That's what you need for that. Okay? So, you have to make 4 cards. I think actually the box will fit in 6 cards. Okay. Hiya Max, you alright lovely? Hope you're feeling better. Right, okay, so there's your card. Now, I have pre-made, because my box is purple, a purple mat to go on top of that. So, you don't have to put a mat on it if you don't want to. You can go straight in with a piece of patterned paper that you've created using Phillipa stamps. But that's that. You need 4 of those. Okay. You also need some shapes to put on top of it to decorate it. Okay. And I've used a scallop oval and just an ordinary oval, which will mat and layer on top of that. Okay, so we can do that now. You'll need 1 of each of these. I like to keep all the cards kind of the same design, just changing the sentiment. Okay, and there's plenty of sentiments in Phillipa's set to be able to do 4 different ones. There's plenty of them. So we need 1 of those, we need 1 of them. But we also need a panel to go on the front of there because I want to decorate using the stamps. Okay, so for the card panel, I'll just open that flat because it's kind of annoying. Right, for the panel that's going to go on the front of there, I've written the dimensions on it. It's 2.5 by 3.5. Okay, And obviously, if you're not going to put that purple one on, then that one needs to be a little bit larger. Okay, so I would say 2 3/4 by 3 3/4, which is what that one measures. Okay, that's the purple one, that's the white one. Okay, now I'm going to be stamping on this to put that on there. So for your box, these are the sizes that you need. You need 2 panels, which are going to go on the front and the back of the box to decorate, and they are white card, because we're going to stamp on them, 3 1/4 inches by 4 1/4 inches. So you need 2 of those. Okay. What size is the mat? The mat size is 2 3/4 by 3 3/4. And the white panel that goes on the top is 2 1/2 by 3 1/2. I've just decreased it by 1/4 of an inch each time. Okay. So that's those. Now we need 2 bits that go on the side. And those 2 side panel pieces are 1 1/2 inch by 4 1/4 inches. So we need 2 of those. And we need 1 to sit on the top. Now you can do as many as you want for the actual top of the box, or none at all. How you decorate it is completely and totally up to you. But if you are going to put one on the top, like I am, it's 1 1/2 inches by 3/4 of an inch, and that's your top panel. Okay, so like I said, I'm going to decorate this, and I've brought in from the Live Life in Full Bloom the heart and the larger of the 2 flower stamps. There's so many stamps on all of these. If you can imagine just using a couple on each box, how many boxes you're going to be able to make with just these 3 sets of stamps, not including all the other Julie Hickey stamps you've got. So I'm going to bring in just a spare bit of paper, because I might stamp off the edge and I don't want to get it on the mat and get it everywhere. And the ink I'm using this time was the closest match I could find to this purple card. Was Versafine Claire Fantasia. Really nice. Really nice. Oh, you know me, Dawn. I prep within an inch of everything. I over prep most times. So I'm going in. These stamps so crisp that you really don't need to worry too much. You know, for doing these small amounts of areas, that messing about with your stamp platform. Okay, I'm just going to pop randomly. See how really, really nicely they stamp. I'm just going to randomly stamp. Just be aware, whatever shape you're putting on, you do want to actually see some of this stamping. So, on that one goes. There you go. Whoops, nearly dropped it. Make sure your edges are clean on your stamp platform, or whatever it is you're using, acrylic block. Okay, you don't want to be getting ink all over your fingers and popping it all over the white area. I have got some tissue here, because that's exactly what I'll do. I usually do. So I'm just going to wipe the edges while I go, otherwise I'll mess up my very first live. Okay, just randomly stamp off the edge. This is the good thing about when you're working with, you know, worker stamps. You can twist them, turn them, put them in, and random is fine, you know. Make sure you ink it up nicely and then pop it in. Okay, so what you're going to do with that now is clean it, put it away. Put your ink away so it doesn't dry out in this heat. Okay, at this actual point in time, there is no point in putting a heart shape on, because my oval is that large. But you'll see in a minute, you're not going to see it if I, you know, because I've used a large oval, but I would have used the heart. And I did, in fact, use the heart and stamped out the panels ahead of time, so you're not just watching me stamp, 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 stamp. So they're the 2 side panels, okay? That one is one of the ones that belong to the card. You have to do that one 4 times, and these are the rest of the panels. And these are going to decorate my box now. Right, so first of all, I'm going to put this card together. While that dries, I can put the box together. Don't you just love it when the glue dries off on the top? There we are. Okay, so I'm going to pop that on. Make sure it's straight. If you've got inky fingers, a good thing to do is use a bit of cello bag or something, so you can see that it hasn't moved when you press it down. Okay, and then I'm going to put my panel on top of there. Okay, I can't wait to see what designs you all come up with using Phillipa's stamps. You see the way it can move, so if you was to press this down with a piece of white paper, by the time you pick the paper up, you can't see what you've done with it, and it could have offshot itself and moved over. So if you use a cello bag, it's a handy little tip. Okay, so this is going to go on the top of there, and you can put it on with foam pads, you can put it on with glue, totally up to you. I'm going to put it on with glue. If you put it on with glue, I think you can get 6 in, but the more dimension that you've got, the more dimension you've got on your card, obviously the less you're going to be able to put in there. So 4's enough for me. So there's the little card. Now last time I did them portrait. This time I'm going to do the cards landscape. Okay, and obviously I have the rest of them done there, ready for the sentiments. Okay, so we'll leave them off to one side while we continue with the box, and then we'll come back to the cards. There we are. So like I said, this is your box body and this is the lid. All right, so I want to decorate the body before I go any further because I find it easier. So we can see that this is where the panels are going to go. All right, on there like that. Okay, so just glue them all on. There we are. Has anybody got any questions while I'm just gluing? Wow, this is your first live, can't be? No, this is not my first live. Honestly, this is just my first live for Julie. It's not my first rodeo. I've done it before, lots of times. But it's my first one for Julie, hence why my hands are shaking. I'm never usually not nervous at all. But, you know, first one, you don't want to mess it up, do you? Well, I don't anyway. Thank you though, Donna. That's really nice of you. So, but make sure that if you've stamped something on it, you see, the good thing about these stamps is they can be any direction. But once you stamp like a heart or something on it, then it becomes directional. So you've got to be aware of where you're putting them, you know, so that you don't put one of your panels upside down, because that's been known. I've done that before many times, I'm sure everybody has. So on go the panels. Okay, and now what we want to do is tuck them side flaps in and then turn it over. Now this little thing here is what you created to glue that onto to make the actual body of the box. It curls round and joins on that. So if at this point you have your dimensions right, you have your score lines right, this should come together really easy. If you haven't, oh dear, you're going to have to trim and mess about with it or start again. Okay, good idea for this, because the more you do, the easier it gets, is to do what I always do and make one up as a template and keep that one, and then just in plain white card, and then go in, yeah, I know, few, I know, go in with your good card, your nice card that you want to actually make the box from, and then you've always got your template to look back on if you forget any score lines or any of those. Okay, so now we have the box body put together. Okay, so comes to the base. Now, pop in one of the long ones, okay, and then you're going to glue these two flaps on the inside, right? One there and one there. I'm probably going overboard with the glue because I cut the end off the glue bottle too short. So if you put those in, right, then this one goes on top and covers up those two little flaps and makes it a really neat box. Okay, so at this point you can put your hand in, or you can put a pair of scissors in and you can press it down. Okay, yeah, I like to make templates of most things that I make, because, you know, sometimes you go back to, you don't make one for ages, and then you think, oh, what was that? What was those measurements? I mean, you can even write on your template what the score lines are if you wish, and then you've always got it. So I'm just going to take off the excess glue that I've been overzealous with. There we are. So we have that. Now, I always like to make the lid around the box, and then you know for sure that it's going to fit. Okay, so what we're going to do is bring it down, and we're going to bring the side pieces in first, like that. Okay, hold it with your fingers. Don't want it too tight, guys, not too tight. So hold it with your fingers. Give it a good score first. That one's probably not scored as nicely as I would like. Well, burnished as nice. So, and we're going to hold it like that, and we're going to put glue on that one, and then this one is going to come down over the front. And at this point, you can see whether you haven't mitered it enough, or and go in and miter it again. You can have a little mess about with it. Okay, so there we are. Press it down. Press that one on top of it, and square it up. So it's nicely squared up, and you know it fits, and it will open and close nicely. Then just hold it for a little while, just to give it somewhere to hold on to. Oh, thanks, Joe. Okay, once you've got it, open it out and give it a good press here. You know it's going to fit when you put it back down now, because you've just measured it all around itself. There we are. That's the box. And at this point, I'm now going to glue that extra panel on the top. Okay? So that one can go on. And then that one is, the box is ready to be filled with the little cards that we're going to finish doing now. There we are. So I'll leave that there to dry. Bring in the cards. So I have a happy birthday sentiment. I've got hello. I've also cut circles and stamped just for you, and used Dotty About You. As you can see, it's the sentiment in the outside circle for that one. Use the same Dotty About You, and I put Live Life in Full Bloom, which comes from Bloom and Lovely set. So, as do the hello and happy birthday from there. I've used one colour only, right the way through, purple. That's it. I like it. I do like kind of monotone things. Hi, Linda. Oh, yeah. So, I've stamped out 5 of the flowers. Okay, and I've got one extra oval which I've put hello on. I've already glued it together. I've just put that on there, because that I'm going to put on the front of the box there. I mean, like I said, up to you. You can decorate the front or have no decoration on at all. And that part, I'm really looking forward to seeing what you do with yours. So all I've done there, like I said, is stamped out the flowers, and I've coloured them very loosely with distress ink, actually. The nearest one I could find, I think it was Wilted Violet, was the nearest one I could find. So I've actually pre-done the, I'm going to slightly put them on one side, okay, and I'm going to pop on a flower at the side of it. Up to you where you place it. I quite like the placement of that one there, so that's going on there. Card 1 is done. Okay, second one, hello. I mean, you could have all thank you, birthdays, whatever sentiment you've got, but I just thought it would be cute to use all of Phillipa's stamps, seeing as they're a new set, and everybody likes playing with new stash, don't we? So there you go. Hello is going to go on there. I'm just going to make sure it doesn't hang over too far off this side of the card, or it won't go in the envelope. Took the sticky off that already. I think I'll pop that one that way. There we are. 2, just for you. A different one, different shape, round one. Okay. Pop it in the middle, and again, pop one of the flowers on. Same flower that I've used in the background. I like things that coordinate. I'm going to pop that a little further over. And then the last one is Live Life in Full Bloom. Okay, so right in the middle for that one too. And on with the flower. No, that way up, I think. And then we've got one flower left to go on the front of this. Okay. Isn't it funny the way you just like things one way up? It's odd, isn't it? There we are. That can go on there. So let's remove all of those. First thing I'm going to do is glue this on here. Okay, actually, I think I might foam pad it on just for a change. Make it a little bit dimensional. Okay, I'm just using bits of foam pad now that I have here. You don't need too much. These are pretty sticky. Oh, thank you, Tracy. Glad you look them. You like them, even. Thanks, Phillipa. Nice and clean looking, aren't they? Nice, you know, just a nice, enough colour, enough pattern. Perfect. There you go. I'm going to pop that on the front and hope it's straight. Looks pretty much straight to me. So on that goes. So the cards are just grand. They can go inside the box now. And like I said, the teal ones I did were portraits. So that's the box with the cards in. Now I want to show you how to do the envelopes. Pretty easy. Okay. So what you start with is a 6x6 piece of card. Now I've got this gadget for making envelopes, but once I've done it, I'll show you the hack that you don't need the gadget for. Okay. So I'll just remove one of the cards because we'll need that for the hack. There we are. So this gadget is Stampin' Up, but it's made by We Are Memory Keepers, okay, and it's an envelope punch board. I've had it years. So down one side, you look for the size of the card that you're making, okay, and we're making a 3x, well, can't even remember now, 3x2 is it? Oh, let me see. Let me measure it. We are making a 4x3. Okay, so you look down the side, you've got a 3x4. So I know that we have to put the card against 2 5/8. And what you do is you punch it and you score. And then you turn where that score line is, you turn it and line it up with this. Okay, punch and score. And you just keep turning it, punching it and scoring it. Okay. There we go. And then that's your envelope done. Right. So I'll show you how to do this one. And then your card fits nicely in there. So if I show you how to do this one, then I'll show you the hack. Okay. Just in case you don't have one. So I've got my score lines in, but what I would really like to do is make this right cute. So I'm going to bring in them 2 stamps again that I used before. And the ink. It's the same stamp I've used all the way through. It's the little flower one. And I'm going to pop one in the corner there. Okay. Flower in the corner. And then I'm going to turn it round. Okay. And I'm going to pop a heart on the top flap, and I'm going to pop it right down there. Now I can see straight through this acrylic block, so I can see where I'm positioning it. Okay, there we go, perfect. Okay, so now you just need to fold it up and put it together. So those go in first, give them a good burnish. Then that one comes up. So technically, you only have to put a little dab of glue. I've got one of these for envelopes. I have to take it out. I know it's really handy for this, and you know, but like I said, you don't need it really. I'll show you how to work it in a minute. Okay, pop it down. Make sure your glue hasn't oozed out and stuck the envelope together. And what I like to do now is get my scissors in, because I don't like that big flappy thing, and cut as straight as you can across that. Take that off, because that's what real envelopes look like, isn't it? There we are. So now you've got your little envelope that your card fits in perfectly, and you've got a cute little stamp. I've also done these here, and I'll use one of these because obviously I don't think that's dry just yet, to show you that the card does fit in perfectly. Okay, even with the flower, it fits in perfectly, as you can see. I won't faff about with that now. So there's your envelopes. So the hack, okay, the hack is 6x6 piece of paper. I'm using this one, okay, and it's easy. Turn it on the side, get one of your cards that you've already made, and you've just got to kind of eyeball it, okay, roughly eyeball it. If you line the top and the bottom up with the same, you know, with a straight line, you can do this on your scoreboard, I guess, just to get a straight line through there. You can work out where your card's going to go, okay, and then just fold it in. And it's a 6x6 piece of paper to start with, all right? I mean, if you were doing a massive envelope, it might be different. Just don't do it too tight, okay, like this. Make sure it's going to fit in. Then fold up the bottom and press it down. Fold up the top and press it down. And then what we're going to do is open it out, and where all those lines cross over, we're going to remove the excess pieces. So there, it's just like a little tiny triangle. So it's that one, this one here, and there should be 4 of them where they kind of fold over. Okay. Take them off. And then you're back to exactly what I had before. Okay. Fold it together, glue it down the sides, crop off that piece across there. And there goes your envelope. Can't be, you know, there's nothing difficult about making that little envelope. If you find when you close it down, you've got a little piece that sticks out there, open it up and just slightly mitre them edges there. Okay, and then that will be a neat little envelope hack. There we go, that looks much better. There we are. Excuse me. Voice is dry. I've been chatting and teaching this morning, then chatting with my mates all afternoon. So there we are. So we have the 4 envelopes ready to pop in. Cute. I love that cute little heart on the back. I think it's really cute. I didn't fold that one down. So there we go. I guess if you're good at working out measurements, you'll be able to work this one bigger for yourself. And as you can see, they all fit in. And like I said, there's a little bit more room. You could possibly fit 6 in there. Okay, there we are. Happy days. It's all done. That wasn't too difficult, was it? No. Well, thank you for joining me on my first live for Julie. And I hope that you make them. And if you do, tag me and I shall pop on and say thank you. All right, thanks very much for your time. Nice. Have a good night, everybody.